Good morning, everyone. For my educational thinker presentation, I have chosen the name of Noah Webster. Now, when many think of Noah Webster, then rightly so, they think of his 1828 American Dictionary. But Noah Webster was actually known for far much more in the realm of American education than just the dictionary. That is why I've chosen him for my educational thinker presentation. First, I'd like to do this is by looking at his educational ideas that were largely radical for this time period, but very important nonetheless. Now, first idea that Webster had was to produce an Americanized spelling and phonetics that was based off American ideals of independence and liberty in order to instill a sense of pride and liberty and pride in country in their American children. Now, this was important to Webster because he deemed that American grammar had been corrupted by the decadent English version of grammar and phonetics that was due to the aristocratic society over there. And he wanted to change that to a more base sound version of American spelling, grammar, and phonetics over here in America. Now, secondly, he had a very important idea and really a precursor to Piaget's developmental theory, in that he believed that children go through distinct phases of learning that can't be tampered with. Thus, his blueback speller, when it was created and produced, it had distinct levels for each age and grade level to go through in their blueback spellers that were not to be tampered with. It was for each grade level. Now, lastly, in his educational ideas, Webster believed that many spellings should be changed to more proper phonetic versions that were more consistent with the Bible, and specifically the King James Bible. Such words such as center, that had been largely spelled with an RE at the end in Europe and England, and he changed to an ER ending, that is more commonly what we use today. And many other words such as that were more sound, more base, and made sense for American culture. Now, in regards to Webster's impact and legacy in education, one can't but look at his blueback speller. Produced in 1783, it became the standard speller for over 100 years until replaced by McGuffey's Readers. During that time, it sold over 60 million copies. Now, like we said before, this speller had distinct learning phases and distinct sections for each grade level, which made it very easy to use for teachers to use in the classrooms. Secondly, of course, is Webster's 1828 dictionary, which cannot be ignored. Put over 20 years of work into it, learned over 25 languages to produce a dictionary of 70,000 words, many of which with distinct American ideas and definitions, including some words that were known only in America and nowhere else in the world. And this would largely be used and done through also using the King James Bible for many of his definitions and where he got the proper spelling, pronunciation, and phonetics of words. And lastly, in his impact, I take his moral view of education. Now, when he got saved in 1808, Webster became a devout follower and believer that education was useless without the Bible. Not only because of getting proper spellings, phonetics, and grammar used from the Bible, but also in the life lessons that the Bible gave to the reader. And thus his views on that were largely influential and stayed until the late 19th century and 20th century. Now, in regards to critiquing Noah Webster's work, there's been many critiques of his work, especially by secular authors today, who were upset that Webster rejected many of the ideas of German, Greek, and Latin philosophers in his creating of the dictionary and speller. And they viewed that he should have looked to them for input and looked to those cultures and phonetic spellings in his work in creating the dictionary. But even though he didn't, it's understandable because Webster was looking for an Americanized version of the dictionary and spellings and creations of words and meanings, not from Europe, which he considered to be a largely decadent society. On a personal level, it was a little concerning to me when I looked at the work of his blueback speller and realized just how secular it was, which had to be quite astounding at that point after the New England Primer had been the basis for so many years. But I believe that Webster fixed that when he was saved after 1808 and expounded his views on the morality that was necessary in education. And also it was a little what I think Webster could have done a little bit better is in regards to how he worked with other people. Webster largely rejected any idea that wasn't his. Now, while that's not always a bad thing, there could have been things in there that could have largely improved his work, but even so, I think his work had a profound and lasting impact upon American education. Thank you.